Hi everyone, this is Linda and welcome to my video. Today guys, I am going to be doing an acrylic painting of a whimsical snowman. I had did a poll and you guys wanted to see the snowman rather than the winter landscape. So I'm going to do a snowman which will have some of a winter landscape with it. So I'm going to get started. I'm working on a 9 by 12 stretch canvas. I have laid my paints out already. I've got some array of blues and black and white. I've got light blue, I've got ultramarine blue, and I've got a ocean green color. I got some purples I haven't put on yet. But I'm going to get started and I'm going to start working in the background. So when you're acrylic painting, I've got a wash brush here and I'm going to always get your brush wet before you start to paint. It just gets the brush ready for the acrylic paint, and I'm just going to put in a layer of just white on my background, and I'm just covering the whole canvas at this point. I know you can't see the white, but we will get there. So I'm putting this white on so that my background colors will start to blend out and not be so harsh. It's a winter scene. So when I do winter scenes, I like to use blues and purples. So there's that. And I'm going in the same direction. I went vertical. Okay, so now I am picking up some of this lighter blue here and also some of this blue that is ultramarine. So I'm going to start blending these into my background, and I'm just taking it vertical and just going to continue. And then as you are going and as you're painting this background on, you don't want to forget to go back into your water and pick up more water as you go, because the water is really the key of blending out your paints and getting a nice smooth surface. So I'm putting this all on. Okay. And I'm blending it in. I'm coming over here and add some more. Filling this whole canvas up with these two colors. Okay. Some more water. Alright. So what I'm going to be doing is a forest in the background. So I'm taking a little bit more of this blue, the ultramarine blue that I picked, and I'm going somewhat just a little deeper, and I'm taking this clear across the background that I had just put on there, and all this is doing is just adding a little bit more depth to the painting itself. Okay. And then I'll add a little bit more over here on this side. Okay. So at this point, I'm going to have to let the background dry. So I will be back in just a minute. Okay, so the back is drying, or just about dry. It is at a tacky mode. nothing's coming up on my fingers, so we're going to continue. And at this point, I think I want to add a little bit of purple in my background. So I'm using Blick Studio Acrylic. And also for my whites, I've used Soho acrylic, and then I've also got a little bit of Master's Touch from Hobby Lobby. So I've used this paint before, and from Hobby Lobby, and it's quite good. But I do like the Blick Studio. Okay, so at this point, what I want to do is I'm going to add just a little bit of this purple in my background, and I am making a mixture here of this purple with the white that I've got here on my little paper plate palette. I like using these because you can just throw those right away, and they're just easy. I have the palettes for acrylic, but I really just navigate really towards the just throwing away the paper plates, though. It's just a little bit easier and neater. Okay, so I have added some of that purple in the background. So now I need to determine where my landline is, which is the horizon in the front. And to do that, I am just going to take a brush, and this is just a 1/2 inch flat brush, and I'm just going to be picking up some white, and what I want to do is just lay some of this down in, just to bring my background into play here. Okay, now I'm going to be adding the white all the way in, and to do that I am just kind of dancing the brush across the canvas just to add the white in, and it is picking up some of that background color, and that is perfect. We want some of that to show through, and we're just getting this ready so we can put our snowman in, and we're going to do a forest in the background, so that will be first. Alright, so I'm going to come in and I am going to pick up just a little bit of that light mixture I used for the background and add some white to it, because I just want to bring that into play here in the front. Okay. Now as this dries, I can go back in and do a little bit thicker coat. Okay, so I'm cleaning my brush, and now I'm going to work in the background by adding some background trees. So I'm going to take the same brush that I had, and it is very flat on the end, and I'm going to pick up some black on the very tips of my brush, and what I'm going to do is add some really pushback background color or trees in this background. I like to work from bottom up. Some people, you know, some artists will work from top to bottom, but I like to work from bottom up, and I'm just adding some really skinny trees in the background here, so you can get the feeling of there is a forest back in here. Okay, so next I'm going to be getting a little fatter tree, so all I do is just push a little harder on the brush. Okay, it back in because you don't want to see any of the canvas come through. And then let's do a few over here. Okay, so I want to give these trees some branches, and I am going to be using just a round small brush. These are my go-to brushes, really. These are a Royal Langnickel clear with the little rubber handle. Love these brushes. They're very, very comfortable to work with. So when you want to put in your branches, you need to thin down your paint a little. So I'm just thinning down a small area of the black, and I'm rolling the brush in it. That is really the proper way to load up your paintbrush. So I'm just going to come in and I'm just going to be adding some branches on these trees that I had put in already. I just want to fill this area up of branches, and just to show that there is a dense forest in the background. So I'm just going along, filling these in, and it takes a while. You know, it really does, and you have to have patience. Okay. And I will also take this brush and I will just go through and put some smaller lines in the mist. Okay. And I'm just adding these tree limbs. You know, it's winter and there's no leaves on the trees. Okay. We want this to be now. I'm going to be putting my snowman right about here. So I don't really want to bring any of that dark color because I'm going to be using white. White is very transparent, very see-through. Okay, now I also have a little bit of this burnt sienna, which I have not opened yet. And this is also a Master's Touch acrylic. And I want to open that. They are always sealed. Oops. And I just got brown there. Let me show you a little trick with this. I had just put down the little tab and it had some brown on it. But if you take your brush and get it wet, you can paint away that paint right off your canvas. Okay, so there we go. Okay, now I am going to add a little bit of that brown. It is burnt sienna actually, and I want to add that to the background into some of these trees. Okay. Get a little bit more water. Just anchor him there. And then let's get this one anchor. Okay, so now I want to start to bring in my snowman here. You can either do one or two ways. You can sketch it in with a pencil, or you can just take your paint and start to form your snowman. So that is what I'm going to do. I'm just going to start bringing my paint in and getting his form. Okay. And this is just the background color, so we'll be coming in and adding some more color to him here in just a bit. Now, with this being a whimsical one, you know, this is just something you're not going to see outside. So he's just going to be a little whimsical. Okay, so I have his basic form in. And what we can do is come in, and I'm adding some shadows to him with some of that purple and some blues. Okay. Because he's going to take a couple coats to get him really white. I don't want to see any of the background color. Okay. So at this point, while he's drying, I like to come in and I will be adding snow on the branches. So that's the next step that I would do. Anywhere there you believe the snow will catch, even in real life, you know, it catches in the crooks of the trees and all the way out to the branches. It even gets on the side of the trees. So you want to make sure that your background color for your trees that we had laid in is dry, or you're going to be picking up the black paint and the brown paint, and you really want to keep it nice, crisp white. Okay, so I'm just coming along and I'm just filling these in. Okay, so did everybody have a really happy New Year's Eve and a New Year's Day so far? We didn't do anything. We stayed home and we played games. We played board games. Actually, we played Pictionary. It was really fun. It was really fun to do. And then we had pizza, and my husband made an apple pie. So we had a good time, good family time. All right, so got those filled in. Okay, so I want mine to look like it's snowing here in the background. So what I want to do is we're going to add like it's snowing. Now you can do it several ways. You can just take your brush and start to pounce in like this, and that'll give you just different sizes of snowflakes. Or if you want to make it a little bit more precise, you can just dot your snow in between with the back of your paintbrush. That'll give you a little bit smaller. Makes a nice little variation of color, of shapes for your painting. So that is what I'm doing now. I'm just kind of adding some of these with the back of my brush. then I'll come back in and add just a little bit bigger. And in the meantime, I think my snowman is starting to dry. So the basics of acrylic painting is you're really painting in layers, and you really want that background. Like, he should be completely dry before I start adding any other paint to him, because if he's not, you're just going to be pushing the paint around and your picture painting's just not going to turn out right. So I'm going to stop here for those, and I can come back in and add more. Let's give him a face. So what I'm going to do is find a really tiny brush. Okay, I can use this brush, and I'm going to use the back end. So I'm just going to give him some 2 eyes. I'm using that back end of my brush, and I'm just going in and I'm dotting an eye and an eye. Okay, and then down here I'm just going to give him some little more dots right there for his front, and then I'm just going to give him some arms at this point because I did not give him any arms. And for that, I'm going back to my tiny little round brush. This is brown brush is a 0. So I'm just coming in and I'm just going to give him some arms here. And over here the same. They kind of blend in with the tree branches, which, you know, that's perfectly okay because that's what they really are just branches from a tree. Okay. So next is, I'm going to be working here in this background again. So I want to make just a little bit of gray. And to do gray, it's white and just a tad of black to make my gray color. And I'm just giving him a shadow where he's sitting here into the snow. And I hope that I am explaining this so you guys can understand. Sometimes it's, for me, it's kind of hard to explain as I go. And then sometimes you get into the zone of painting, and then, it's kind of hard to talk all the way through. Okay, so I need to give him a hat. So, and this is just a basic snowman, really. So, best thing to show you how I just take black on this little tiny brush, and this is just a flat shader brush. It is a number 6, and it is from Princeton. If you can see that, I'm just taking the brush and I am just coming in and just giving him a nice little kind of top hat deal, and I'm just filling this in right on top of his head, and then right at the bottom I'm just cutting in his little the flat part of the hat. So, and he needs a scarf, but while I'm letting his hat dry, because I have to go back and add a little bit of some shadowing and some snow in there, I want to go back in and add some more snow in my background. And also I have another tip, that if you take a toothbrush, and you fill your toothbrush and you have to wet down your paint, you can really spray the paint on and give it a really nice spray of like smaller little sprays of snow. And I'll show you how that's done. I have some toothbrushes that I bought at a thrift show. It was not a thrift show, it was like a flea market. So I always wet my brush down first and then kind of play with the bristles. I take it into the white and then I kind of saw it back and forth like this on the plate just to give it an even load up. And I have to keep checking because I don't want it to be too runny or too clumpy. So, and I'm holding it like this, and I'll take my thumb and pull it back. So I don't want it really to get any on my snowman at this point, so I'm just going to kind of cover him. And I'm just spraying the snow in to really give it a good looks like a winter wonderland. Then I have to come up here and do this side. This is a wonderful way of just adding like a nice snowy area. Now don't want to forget the bottom. And this is very messy, folks, because my thumb is getting very messy. I don't want to forget to add it to the bottom area. Water drop there. Okay, so far he's looking pretty good. I'm happy with him. I got a little mark there on him from the black. And I'm just now trying to get some of this white off my hands. So, what I want to do is just give him some snow on top of his hat. So we're just going to do a little snow there, some on his side of his hat, and then a little bit of gray. We can come in and just kind of give him a little highlight there. Alright, so now got to give him a mouth and a nose. So to do the mouth, we're going to do the same thing we did with the eyes, and we're going to dot the mouth in. You can see that. I'm going to check everybody can see. Okay, so we're going to dot 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so there might be a little big. This one got a little big. And we can change that, but I'm just going to leave him because he's just whimsical anyway. So, and then we need to give him a nose. And I may want to put a pine tree in here. Haven't decided yet. But I'm going to paint in his nose. And I just took some orange. Give him a little nose. Okay, and then he needs a scarf. So I did pick up some red. And by the way, I'm using the red that I got. I showed it in a couple videos ago. This is the red that I picked up from Five Below. And I'm kind of anxious to see how it's going to work. And see, actually it almost looks like an orange to me. It says red, but it has more of an orange color. Yeah, but that's okay. I'm going to use it anyway. I'm going to come back in here with my little shader brush, this little tiny one. And I'm just going to paint in a little scarf. So, as we can see, the paint is very see-through, so it's not very transparent at this, or very opaque at this point. And it's just kind of, you know, you get what you get. If you buy cheap paint, you're going to get that result. So I'm just kind of making that little couple coats, and we'll just give him Okay, all right. So there is the snowman, and I was going to put in a pine tree here, and I may still do that, but basically, guys, that is my little winter snowman scene. And you know, you can come back in here and add more snow. And then you can add, if you want to add some bushes, you can. But this is just basic, easy little snowman scene that I wanted to paint for you all today. So please, guys, if you like this video, please give me a thumbs up, and please consider subscribing. I have like 72% of the watchers are not subscribed. I would love to have you all subscribe to my channel. I'm very small. I'm still growing. My goal is to reach that 1,000 this year. So, and also I want to tell you guys that I'm going to be doing a daily doodle, which my daughter had gotten me this little book. It's 200 drawing prompts, and on each day I'm going to be doing the prompt, and it'll be a daily doodle, so I'll have a video up every day. I'm going to attempt that. I don't know how easy or hard it's going to be. It's I'm back teaching next week. I have I'm a sub in school, so I am teaching art, so I'm going to be busy after Monday. So thank you guys for watching. I really appreciate each and every one of you. Have a very merry New Year day, and I will see you guys soon. Bye bye, guys.